Welcome, welcome, welcome to tonight's show. You are watching the Loving Me Show. I am your host, Jennifer Cassette. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you each week for joining me. Tonight, the topic is going to be knowing me, loving me. Loving me, knowing me. So, what I mean by that is loving me, knowing me. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. It is so important that you know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you will never truly show up in this world and get everything that this world has to offer you. So when I say know who you are, you have to remember that, first of all, you are a spirit, you have a soul, and you have a body. In order to, sorry about that, somebody was calling. So in order to truly know yourself, you have to know yourself on all three levels: spirit, soul, and body, in order to know who you are and in order to love yourself. So spirit, how do you get to know yourself from spirit? The only way to do that is through God. So the Bible talks about how we're made in his likeness and his image. And so if you're ever going to get to know yourself spiritually, you have got to develop and form a relationship with God. First of all, and in order to do that, you have to be saved. You can't have a relationship with him without being saved. So you got to know who you are from a spiritual aspect. And that is the one true living God. Because a lot of people reference God, but the one true living God is the creator of the world, and he sent his son Jesus. That is the God that we serve, the God that created us, because the Bible says that there is only one way to God, and that is through Jesus. So you got to know yourself on a spirit level. Then you have to know yourself from the soul. So what is the soul? The soul is made up of the mind, the will, and the emotions. And the mind is the thinking faculty. The will is where you have choice and desire. And the emotions are your feelings. So you have to know who you are at the soul level. Also, at the soul level is where your personality and your gifts and your talents are. That is the way that you show up in the world. So you got to really know your personality, because your personality affects those who you interact with. It affects your job. It affects a lot of different things about you. And so when you show up in the world, people see that personality. So I know some of you, because you truly don't know yourself, you are in jobs that you are frustrated with because your personality doesn't mesh with that job. So for me, as an example, I'm a people person, and I know that, and I learned that over the years. I had a great lesson in that when I was about 16 years old. And at that time, I was working a job back in Louisiana through the JTPA. And with that job, they were putting me in the file room. And when I was in the file room, I was like, oh no, I can't do this job. I can't do this job because I have to be around people. And so because I have to be around people, I knew then that I had to be around people. And so that's where I become the most alive. See, when you are in the environment that you're supposed to be in and around the people that you're supposed to be around, you will become alive. You will know the difference. It is going to make you be your best self. And so I function and operate around people. That is a part of my personality. I'm very outgoing. You know, I love a crowd. I've always been the person, if I was in the bus station and no one was talking, I'm going to talk to someone. So I've spent time to get to know myself, and I'm still learning myself, because everything in life is a journey. Everything in life is a process. So you got to know who you are and what is your personality, who you mesh with, who you don't, and how to function and operate around other people. And you use your personality because that's what God gave you. That is the way people see you. Sometimes they say, man, she's so bubbly. She always happy-go-lucky. She's always smiling. That may be a turnoff to some people, but I want you to understand, never be ashamed of who God created you to be. Never be ashamed of your personality, because that's the way he created you to show up in the world. And if he created you to show up in the world like that, he gave that to you for a reason. So I want you to understand, and I want you to get to really know your personality and know who you are from the soul level. And then also your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. That is in the soul. That's a part of the soul. So when you begin to function in that, and when you begin to discover that, and when you begin to know that, then you are going to be your best self. Remember, the journey of loving me is really knowing who you are at the core of all levels. There are so many of us that don't know who we are. And when you don't know who you are subject to abuse. When you don't know your purpose, you are subject to abuse. So it is vitally important, y'all. Last week I talked about knowing who you are, knowing that you're loved versus feeling loved. See, when you know something, that thing is solid. It's unshakable. It's unmovable. And you have to get to the point where you're solid, where you're unshakable, where you're unmovable. You got to know who you are. Do you know who you are? I really want you to take the time to really think about that. And I'm still learning me. It's a discovery process. It's a journey. It's not a destination. You'll be forever changing. You'll be forever growing. And that's why you have to stay connected to the source, which is God. He is all knowing. Y'all, we only know in part. We know some things that's solid, but we only know in part. But God knows everything. He knows the whole picture. And so, in order to continue to truly love yourself and to be everything that he created you to be, you have to stay connected to him. You have to stay in his face. You got to commune with him on a daily basis because he is supposed to be our God and our guide. So when you get to really know yourself on the spiritual, the soul, and then you have the physical, that's when you'll truly show up in the world. So the physical, really knowing how he designed you, how he created you, really falling in love with your outer appearance. There's so many people that do not love the way they look. Let me tell you something. No matter how you look, God didn't make a mistake. Now, people in the world will maybe say something about how you look because, you know, society has this thing where it's like you got to be 24, 34, 36. Y'all know the numbers. And then you have to be skinny and then you have to look a certain way. But that's society's way because, of course, you know, the enemy rules the world. So society is ran by the enemy. So I'm going to just say that. So his view of how we should look is from a deceptive place. So he wants to get people to see from his eyes, and then you start hating yourself. And then when you start hating yourself, then you want to do things to change yourself. Now, you know, makeup, weave, you know, I ain't got no weave, but different things like that. I'm just saying it's an enhancement to what you already have. And one of the great things about how God created us is that we have freedom of expression. You know, I talked about how the will is a part of the soul. And that's where you make choice and that's where you make decision. Y'all, the will is so powerful. Each day we get to choose. Each day we get to choose who we show up as. I can do whatever I want to do to my hair. I can do whatever I want to do to my makeup. I can put on any type of clothes. So I want y'all to really grasp the fact that you have got to get to know yourself. And the only way that you are going to get to know yourself is through spending time with yourself. You got to get alone. You got to get quiet. And you got to think, y'all. We live in a world today that is so noisy. You got to think. Think, who are you? What are my likes? What are my dislikes? How was I made? Y'all, it's only one way to do it. And that is spending time with yourself. You may be saying, well, I'm a single parent. I don't get no time for myself. Well, when them kids are asleep, go spend time with yourself. You know, when you're transitioning to and from the work, don't be on the phone. You know, take that time to get quiet, to wind down, and to just think. Do you ever think about what you're thinking about? Do you ever actually sit and think about yourself? Do self-assessments. Think about when you're around crowds, how do you respond? What are your natural reactions to people? You have got to get to know you. It is so important. I'm telling y'all, it is going to change your life. And if you find yourself frustrated all the time, that means you truly don't know who you are. And some areas in your life are out of sync. God designed this beautiful life for us, y'all. He designed this beautiful life for us. And when you are in a place of knowing, it is one of the most awesome places that you can be. Because when you know a thing, no one can take that from you. A lot of us allow people to toss us to and fro because we don't know who we are. And we allow people to come in and to treat us any kind of way, because when you don't know who you are, you really don't know what you deserve. You really don't know how you're supposed to be treated. Remember, I said, when you don't know something, abuse can occur. And people don't intentionally try to do those things, but they don't know who they are either. So I want to encourage each and every one of you tonight, really get to know you. I want to see you be everything that God created you to be. You have got to get to know you. When you get to know you, you will fall in love with you. Y'all, I love myself. Now, there was a time when I didn't. And when you really get to know yourself and you fall in love with yourself, you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself from a spiritual perspective, a soul perspective, and a physical perspective. You begin to take care of yourself. You begin to be mindful of what you put on your body, what you put in your mouth, what you put on your skin. You begin to be mindful of those things because you want to show up and you want to be your best. I love me. There was a time where I looked a mess, where I didn't care. But now that I love me, oh no, you ain't going to catch me looking any kind of way. Because I'm going to show up. Y'all, I am living my best life. I want to live my best life, and I will live my best life. So there's no turning back for me. I am going to be everything that he created me to be. And I am getting to know myself daily. And as I get to know myself more, I love myself, y'all. There's only one of me. There's only one of you. Show up. Get to know you. Who are you? Y'all, it is so important to know. Don't let anyone define you but the one who created you. And that is our Father. You are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. You are made in his likeness and his image. And he loves you. He loves you so much. He loves you. Do you love yourself? I want to thank each and every one of you for watching on tonight. God bless you. Bye-bye.